We've been waiting for this game. It is finally here. NHLers back in the Olympics. Canada set to make its debut against Czechia. Kevin Bieksa, Cassie Campbell-Pascal, Elliot Friedman alongside. Every Canadian boy who loves hockey has two big dreams as they're growing up. One, of course, to play in the NHL, to win the Stanley Cup, but also to play for the red and white of Canada. At the World Juniors, at the World Championships, sure, but above all else, the Olympics. And here the NHLers are, as Jorden Binington, the starter, leads them onto the ice. They've made millions. Many have won the Stanley Cup, some multiple. Most have families, but tonight they're all that same boy, ready to live that dream. What are you guys looking forward most to watching?
You know, for me, we've seen this tournament allowed to be played physical already. So I'm looking forward to Tom Wilson's first shift. I'm looking forward to Brad Marchand's first shift. And I'm looking forward to Brandon Hagel's first shift and how they set the tone for Canada.
Cassie, this crowd behind us is Czech dominant. They're loud, they're chanting already. They're going to make it hard. Cale Makar is by far the #1 D for Canada. You don't want to overtax him early, especially with 7D in the lineup, but you want to give him the hard minutes against David Pastrnak. Elliot, he won't be hard to find. He's got the candy cane socks out tonight.
Connor McDavid. He's waited his whole life for this. I'm watching to see Connor McDavid.
Canada has a 10-game winning streak with NHLers in the Olympics. They have not lost since that defeat against the Americans in the preliminary round in 2010. In fact, they haven't trailed 1 second since then. But a huge challenge today against Czechia. To call it, Chris Cuthbert and Mike Johnson.
Thank you, James. The NHL Stars have finally aligned after a 12-year wait, and there is the hero of the four nations. What a performance, especially in overtime, to shut down Team USA, win four nations. Jorden Binington with 31 stops in that four nations final. And David Pastrnak will lead the offensive charge for Czechia. A top-heavy line-up on that big line. Mike Johnson for Czechia against Sidney Crosby and company.
Got the best seat in the house, Chris, between the benches now. And I like to see Crosby starting against the big line. You were wondering with his wingers, Marner and Stone, would Sidney Crosby be deployed in a defensive role? Looks like to start the game, to start the tournament, he's going to be.
So the captain will take the opening face-off. There's Lukas Dostal, red hot down the stretch. Best goaltender at the World Championship a couple of years ago. And Mike, what an atmosphere in this building.
It is percolating. The Czech fans are ready to go.
So it's Tomas Hertl along with Marty Necas, David Pastrnak up against Sidney Crosby. Mark Stone, who was on a tear, and Mitch Marner, puck came out in front. Comes back to the line, kept in. Here's Makar, sending to the net. Dropped in front by Dostal. And shot wide by Mitch Marner. Close call early, kept in by Marner. Dostal's dropped his stick as he turned that aside. And now the Czechs finally are able to move it out. And it's Šimik flipping that in high on Jorden Binington. A hot start for the Crosby line.
You win the face-off, you get down to the offensive zone and go to work. This puck is tipped last minute by Mark Stone. He was getting boxed out by Hronek, but still got a piece of the puck and then also a chance at the rebound, as it was really tight for Dostal scrambling to start the game.
So now Nathan MacKinnon comes out to take that draw and win it against David Kampf. And it's Brandon Hagel alongside. And play call.
Glove pass.
On a hand pass. And Nick Suzuki moves up. So that's one of the big storylines coming in, Mike. A little bit of a tweak to the lines that have been used in practice.
And Nick Suzuki getting, I guess, off the would-be fourth line onto Nate McKinnon's line, playing on the wing nonetheless. But with Hagel and Suzuki, you can see how this line should work.
McKinnon knocked down by David Kampf. If we call the McKinnon line line 2, 85 goals combined in the NHL this year. McKinnon fired that across the goal mouth. That's the same number as the McDavid line. This time, McKinnon gets the best of a physical battle with Michael Kempny. It'll be cycled into Nathan MacKinnon, who scored the first goal of four nations. Almost turned it over there, and it does end up on the stick of Kemp. Here's Kemp over the line. And a chance for Kempney, and Binington's got that.
Good to see Binington get a couple touches, couple saves, but a really good play by Michael Kempney in his own end. Nathan MacKinnon is maybe the hardest player in the league to stop when he gets wheeling around the top. Now, we got a taste of the cold shoulder, or cold backside for Nathan MacKinnon there, sat him down, but he stayed with them all the way up at his own end, turned it over to create the chance.
Okay, we had to wait till the third line to see Connor McDavid make his Olympic debut along with Tom Wilson and Macklin Celebrity. And all three in focus, and look at McDavid knocking down a man. Celebrity a shot. There's a rebound left in front after a good stop by Dostal.
Maybe the hardest hit I've ever seen Connor McDavid make.
Jervenka playing in his fifth Olympics, and a penalty coming up. Team Canada going to get an early advantage. Binington to the bench. Extra attacker coming on.
That's McDavid with the hit. That's McDavid drawing the penalty.
Thomas Harley works it slowly out as they get the 6-on-5 organized. MacKinnon lost possession, and so the first call of the game coming up. Wes McCauley.
23, Czechia. It's got a minor for a hold.
Sedlak, big solid four. Here's MacKinnon in on the forecheck though. He's looking to finish on Sedlak, sits him down, gets the net, and then goes back to the other end, and there's Sedlak getting tangled up with McDavid again in an offensive zone hold. Not what Czechia was looking for to start this game.
Team Canada had 4 games at the Four Nations, just 4 power plays. They scored on their very first, and it was a work of art by Nathan MacKinnon on a setup from Sidney Crosby. Cale Makar will quarterback the A unit. He'll glide through center, go to work deeper in the zone. Reinhardt's out there as well. McDavid's got the puck downhill to the net and snapped that shot.
That's off.
Not sure the net came off, and yes, they are going to have to stop play.
That's a good break for Czechia. Dostal came flying across to get his shoulders up against the post as McDavid picked off the clearing attempt. And they might have to check the pegs because that came off very easily. Also, McDavid looking to score early as both pegs came out. Clearly 97 ready to go.
John Cooper said he's laser focused, and I think we've seen evidence of that on the very first shift. Crosby to take the draw. Won by the Czechs, kept in by MacKinnon. Now comes across to the captain. Sidney Crosby down low. Give it go. Glove stop. Dostal. 97-87. That would have been pretty.
Dostal, get used to saying his name. He's going to be busy here. Another good keep by Nathan MacKinnon this time. Give and go. And the one-timer. Dostal reaching out. Not happy with the traffic. Watch Dostal's arm in the last minute. A little pop into Sidney Crosby.
Dostal's won 8 of his last 9 coming in. Crosby. McDavid. In the bumper, Reinhardt. And didn't get all of that. Dostal turns it aside.
All those options. 3 righties for McDavid to pass it to. Makar, MacKinnon, or Reinhardt.
Makar defers to MacKinnon. He'll bounce it back and with speed. Here's McDavid into the zone. MacKinnon up top. He'll dance past one, give it back to McDavid. Crosby to McDavid. And now Makar over on that far side. That shot dropped in front, and that puck cleared over the glass, and they say deflected.
Wow, it's something to watch that first unit go to work. The double drop to Connor McDavid. Are you kidding me? Good luck trying to hold the blue line. And this is a pass from Nathan MacKinnon. He's trying to put this onto a tipped stick in front. Not looking to score. Crosby almost gets a piece before the scramble.
So the second unit comes on. Shea Theodore listed as the 7th D, but the quarterback of the second power play has the puck. It'll come to Celebrity. Can let it fly. Marner on the far side. Bo Horvat in support, but the Czechs send it back down the ice, and Team Canada with 15 seconds of power play time left. Here's Marner working his way in. Pass for Horvat, didn't get there. Celebrini will turn it back in. He gets it to Marner. Stone goes to the net. Theodore, downhill, fired. And the loose puck picked up by Natchez, back at full strength. And here is Sedlak out of the box and going to work on the attack. Former Columbus Blue Jacket. A little bit of a collision in front that knocked Binington off balance. Spacek sends it around. Son of Yarrow Spacek, David Spacek, like dad, is now an Olympian. Here's David Spacek at the line. That shot doesn't get to the net. Knocked to the corner, and Theodore trying to play it up the boards. And out it goes to center. Hurdle back with Natchez having a terrific year in Colorado. And David Pastrnak, 7th in the league in scoring. Brad Marchand on the ice. Sent it across. Stone was headed to the bench and didn't see the pass coming. Phil Hronek up ahead for the veteran Chervenka in his 5th Olympic Games. It's an icing call against Czechia.
Canada doesn't get anything on the board on their power play. Had a couple good looks. Crosby, Celebrini, including this one from Theodore. He tries to go upstairs, but he catches Mark Stone in the hip instead. We got Sam Bennett for his first shift.
Sam Bennett, the extra forward, lost the draw. Out comes Natchez. Stransky. Stransky, who leads the Swiss League in scoring. Bennett back the other way. A goal in the Four Nations final. Conn Smythe Trophy winner and a big hit on the forecheck there. Drew Doughty's on the ice, playing in his 3rd Olympic Games. Hagel battling for the puck. Marchand with it, sends it wide of the net. Here's Bennett shoulder to shoulder with Hronek. Bennett trying to come up with it. It'll come to Marchand and off the blocker of Dostal. Cycled back for Bennett. There's a weak shot, doesn't get to the net. Maybe another try. And Bennett with a little bump on Dostal. The puck up over the glass, but deflected, so no penalty.
Well, Chris, what can we say? We're down here between the benches. We've done a lot of games together. We've done playoff games, intense games, but very few games feel quite as fast as this one has already felt. It is amazing to see how quickly these guys have to decide what to do and where to go with it. Not a lot of time or space with the speed.
Terrific pace. The Czechs called for icing. Faceoff comes back into the Czechia zone. Shot 6-2 early in favor of Team Canada.
We see what John Cooper's trying to do, though. He's gotten everyone involved. Shea Theodore, 7th defenseman. He's been on the ice. We've seen Sam Bennett, the 13th forward. He's been on the ice trying to get everyone a shift early to get into the game.
Everybody is in. Makar and Taves on the back line. Face-off one, and it will come back to Makar. That pass pulls Taves out to center. Devon Taves straight ahead into the zone. Tried to get it across to Stone, broken up. Odd man rush. Kubalik and Kasha on the attack. That fired around by Faksa. Deflected to Team Canada. Crosby looking for Marner inside the line. Across it comes to Colton Parayko. In and around it goes. All the way to McDavid. Lost control of the puck. Back the other way, Kasha with Kemp. And that'll be absorbed by Binington. Just getting underway. 6:41 gone. And early pressure by Team Canada.
One of the topics coming into this tournament for Canada, how would Tom Wilson's game translate in an international setting? Here he was during warm-ups, paroling the red line, all eyes towards the opposite end of the rink, sizing up the Czechs. But in the early moments of the first period here this afternoon, it was Nathan MacKinnon and Connor McDavid lowering the boom. John Cooper said the other day he thinks Team Canada can intimidate with skill and physicality. Maybe we just didn't see the skill being the ones initiating the physicality here in this one so far, Chris.
Yeah, everybody was worried about Tom Wilson. Got to worry about Connor McDavid, who you, I mean, it's not a scoop, but you are getting a bird's eye view of the speed bursts are something to behold, aren't they?
We know he's the fastest already, but he's even faster than everyone else. In 6 minutes, he is flying by guys. His own team, Czech players, whatever, he is at another level to start the game with his pace.
On the draw against Tomas Hertl. Pulled back. Šimik sends that off the end boards. Pastrnak on it, trying to twist away from Josh Morrissey, who arrived at the rink for the Four Nations final and just was so sick they had to take him back to the hotel. He had trouble even watching. An unfortunate turn of events for Morrissey, who is excited to be here for this one. That's in the glove of Binington. Nobody knew where it was.
Team Czechia knew that Canada would be driving pace early, so Coach Radim Rudlik, who is pretty stern behind the bench. He is gets into his team's ears. Got Thomas Plekanec just past him to the right. And Andre Pavlik all the way down at the end as well, the goalie coach. I don't know if we want to play them in the coach's pickup game.
There's some pretty good talent on a lot of benches. That shot for the point turned aside by Binington. Rink wide it goes. Here's McKinnon working his way in. Drops Suzuki with the shot, and Dostal will cover up.
Now, this is going to be the challenge. If you want to try to stack the blue line against Team Canada and give them a full head of steam and a little space, it's going to be really hard to hold it. So John Cooper, who doesn't want his team to play defensive. He doesn't want to win the same way they won in 2014. He wants his best players to attack, be creative, and intimidate, as you mentioned, with the speed and skill, not the structure and defense.
Yeah, we won't question the results from 2014, but it was not an artistic success. This has the potential to be something special. Here's a chance. McKinnon in, scores!
Now you're going to call a penalty on Suzuki.
They're going to wash it out.
They're going to call a hook on Suzuki before the goal was scored.
Canada, number 10, minor penalty, tripping.
Tripping.
Mikael Holm from Sweden makes the call that takes the opening Team Canada goal off the board.
Suzuki was tracking down the puck after Binington moves it up the ice on Ruta, and he crossed over on the stick. But I thought he was going to get the hook for the turnover. So I suppose that's a trip, but it's inconsequential to the play, and that's why most team players let him go.
Short-handed, here's Bo Horvat attacking. Horvat with a backhand right on. So Horvat and Hagel will start. Anthony Cirelli, who was named to the team but unable to report for duty, would likely have been out here for a first penalty kill for Team Canada. Fired across and back to Hronek. And a one-timer, Pastrnak, that's blocked and cleared by Makar. Pastrnak, Hertl. Out there as to the attack goes Natchez. Hronek sends it over. That touch pass for Hertl, spins, and a redirect bounced off a defender, and Binington had to be sharp on that. That gets away from Natchez and fired down by Parayko.
Pretty good puck tracking from Jorden Binington. Spot that one broken play on the blocker side.
Spacek out there on the second power play for Czechia, along with Dominik Kubalik, one of the top scorers in the Swiss League. Horvat with a bump on Spacek. Kubalik trying to work it back there. Horvat comes up with it, and he'll clear. Half minute to go in the Suzuki penalty. Canada trying to avoid the double whammy of having a goal watched out and a power play goal scored here by the Czechs. Trying to get it to Cherbenka. The veteran Cherbenka, the oldest player in the tournament. At 40 years of age, and the puck rolls back into the Czech zone. So Team Canada with the kill. Both teams 0 for 1. A couple of shots for Czechia on their first power play. And now McDavid comes out with Wilson and Celebrini. Celebrini, the youngest NHL Olympian ever for Team Canada at 19. Eric Lindros was just about to turn 19 in 92. There's the first big Tom Wilson hit. Kirk Muller, the youngest to play for Team Canada, 18 in 1984. Natchez, David Camp. And he takes a bump from Doughty. Doughty timed that up, but McDavid got run over by Hurdle. Here's Hurdle powering in front to the backhand that Binington had to be alert on. So it's getting revved up here. First period, Tom Wilson on the hit board.
Well, back in Pittsburgh for years, it's been Crosby walking out onto the ice, second last, Evgeny Malkin last. We learned during the Four Nations last year, it was Crosby who asked Mitch Marner to play the de facto Malkin role and going last for Canada. Should we be surprised at all that that has carried over here to Milan for the Olympics? Marner following or going behind Crosby, both for the warm-ups and the start of the game here against Czechia, Chris.
Whatever the captain says, and he led the excursion into downtown Milan a couple of nights ago to see the sights, little team bonding.
You can get a sense around the Olympic Games that Sidney Crosby is not just one of the biggest stars in the hockey competition, but all competitions. He draws a reaction everywhere he goes from all the athletes from all the countries.
Brandon Hagel's on the puck, just past the midway mark of the opening period. Waiting for the first goal of the game that Nathan MacKinnon thought he had. Shea Theodore sends it around. Hagel gets there first. Pumps that to Suzuki. MacKinnon will chop it back to his teammate Taves. That bounce just wide. Suzuki on the prowl for the retrieval, but it's the Czechs who work it out. Hronicki didn't get to the red line, so that's icing. There's, Mike, you pointed that out yesterday. They call it very tight, nothing in the neighborhood here on the icing calls internationally.
Chance for Canada to get a fresh line out there. Nick Suzuki was parked right in front of the net for Dostal, and I think it seems the clear message for Team Canada is get into the eyesight of Lucas Dostal. 5-on-5 and 5-on-4. They've been doing it.
Should mention the last break. Suzuki went and spoke with the referee who called that penalty. Little discussion about how it unfolded. Knocked down at center by Pasternak. Knocked away from him. Marner turns it back. Crosby tried to go rink wide, and it deflects right onto Dostal.
Well, if you're the Czech team, you're happy how this first period is sorted out. It's still 0-0. Shots are relatively even. You've probably taken the first initial frenetic push from Canada. And Dostal looks like he's locked in like he has been in the NHL.
Mark Stone with the puck. What a season he's had. Missed a lot of action, but he's played 41 games. He's on a 120-point pace. Spacek tried to fire that around, knocked down by Crosby. And now Spacek to center. His dad Jarl played in 3 Olympic games. Same total as Doughty is out there now. Harley up the boards, and that's going to roll. 198 feet, I guess. icing call.
Short tournaments, goaltenders are always part of the conversation for Canada as well for Czechia. Dostal has come into the Olympics about as hot as any goalie in the league. His last 9 starts, look at those numbers. And consistent, 3 or fewer in every single game, and that's behind Anaheim, which is not airtight defensively. So he is on top of his game.
He had to be that good to get the start because Karel Vejmelka is tied for the league lead in wins with Andrei Vasilevsky. 27 wins, and that doesn't get you a start at the Olympics.
Doesn't even get you a backup job. Because Vladar is backing up tonight.
So that might indicate
maybe resting Vejmelka for the next game.
McDavid just failed to get loose there. Right around off Kubalik, and Morrissey back to get it. Stransky on his tail. Morrissey up on the right wing. Wilson hands it off to McDavid. Trying to slice through. Unable to do so. Sent around where Stransky is met. Here's Celebrini getting it to McDavid. Up the boards, and nice play there by Theodore to come up with it. Shea Theodore suffered a broken wrist in the first period of the first game of Four Nations, effectively ending his season. There's Reinhart stepping into a man. Natchez rink wide for Hertl. Around it goes. Makar chopped at it. Got it ahead for Reinhart. Sam Reinhart for Marchand. Great pass. Here's a chance. Horvat just missed. Theodore sends it back behind the net. Centered. Marchand! And he was unable to finish. Comes back to Makar. Hooked that back into the corner. Horvat after it there. Now it comes out for Pasternak. Marty Natchez on the move. Sweeping in and off the stick of Binington. Up off the glass, brought down by Natchez. Pasternak across and a backdoor pass. Well defended there by Makar. Czech fans like that last push. Along the boards, and Suzuki under. Oh, that one off Binington and with sitting in the goal mouth for a moment.
That caught Parayko on the rebound and almost went in behind Binington.
Here's Suzuki, dropped off. McKinnon in flight. Here's McKinnon back to the attack. Looks across for Suzuki. Off the side of the cage. And sent back inside the Team Canada line. McKinnon can't get that to the net. Veronik sends it around. Tomashek bumped. Cervenka ahead. Here comes Sedlak, and he fanned on the shot. Working against Doughty. Doughty ties him up along the boards. Suzuki helps out. Now Harley trying to get it to Crosby. Back to Harley, trying to one-hand that to Doughty. They'll reverse it. Now they've got a little more time and space. Czechs retreat on a change. Harley, who was called upon to join the Four Nations team after the injury to Theodore. And what a performance he came in and provided in relief. In behind the net it goes. A centering pass by Marner. Taves. Stone. Makar. Right on. Dropped by Dostal. Puck left in front. And turned out off Kubalik.
Crosby's not happy about that tangle up in front. Barkin.
Makar sends it back in. McDavid looks for it. Following up Wilson. McDavid from the corner. Around it goes, and arriving here is Parayko. Tom Wilson swings it back. Celebrini's on it. Macklin Celebrini, 4th in NHL scoring at 19 years of age. He'll swing it back. It'll reach Wilson. Wilson turns. Back to the line, and that gave Morrissey trouble. Back in, McDavid hadn't cleared. Offside called, and Celebrini and the veteran Michael Kempney get their sticks up. Kempney 35, Celebrini 19, and earlier an attack by Natchez and a good Binington stick.
Cale Makar, Calgary, Alberta, Canada's most important defenseman in these Olympics. Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. Here he was on the PK earlier, wearing that one-time shot from David Pastrnak of Czechia. Did you see him wincing on the bench a little bit? He has not missed a shift since, but anytime Makar lays out to block a shot, Canada holding its collective breath, Chris.
26:41 of ice time in Four Nations. Kind of went through that tournament with a bit of a sickness, so not 100%, just under 5 minutes of ice time so far tonight for the two-time Norris Trophy winner. Sort of what we expected, Mike, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, back and forth, and Czechia doing a really good job of taking hits and making plays in their own end below the goal line. They keep getting pounded, but they keep going back there, taking the hit and getting the puck out.
Thomas Harley at the wheel. Red line it in. Hunter Shan tried to duck under a check from Shimmick. That puck played ahead, and Pastrnak at center. Bennett closing down on him. A couple of shifts in the first period for Bennett. It's the all-Panther line here. Marchand, Reinhardt, and Bennett. Bennett stepping in there to try and get it back, but the Czechs are out. Into the skates of Pastrnak, and he's going to stay out there. Thought he might be heading off with his line mates, but he'll stay out. Hagel got run over by Radko Gudas. Here's a centering play, and sweeping that stick across was Binington.
He's done that a few times, been aggressive with the poke check of some kind.
Oh, Pastrnak had Hagel lined up, and Brandon Hagel just got out of the way.
Well, Sidney Crosby, the captain, the other statesman on Team Canada, doesn't usually complain to the ref so much. Like, that's a pretty good pitchfork from Ruda on Crosby. He's not happy about that. Yelled during the play, during the commercial break, went over to Mikhail Holm, tried to get an explanation. Don't know if he liked it, but he at least had a conversation with it.
Gonna look like a hit, but at the end of it. So 2 minutes remaining here in the opening period. Radko Gudas with 147 hits on the season so far, and has led the league in that department more than once. Michael Kempney gets it back at the line, shooting, rebound in front, Binington down and covers.
David Kemp had a wide open net if his stick was 1 inch longer. He rolls over to the weak side on the Kempney shot. He's not really tied up by McKinnon. He just is pushed fractionally out of the way, and then the time he gets the puck, Binington makes a pretty great save with the glove. But the first puck would have been right in there, and then eventually a diving glove grab from Binington to keep Czechia off the board.
Kemp playing alongside his childhood friend, Andre Kasha. Good to see Kasha still playing. Had to leave the NHL with concussion problems. That turned aside by Binington, and another shot. Hit a skate and glanced wide. Little pressure coming from Kemp, Kasha, and Andre Palat.
Bo Horvat was out there for the face-off get-off. Although he did not win the draw, John Cooper late in the period going to the face-off experts in the defensive zone.
And the Crosby line comes out on a change as Sedlak sends it in. He ends up getting there first. It'll be played back to the line, Jan Ruda. That well wide, and Crosby will look up ice. Rink wide, Stone fires it in from center. After it goes Marner. A couple of Golden Knights flanking Sidney Crosby. 1 minute to go in the period. Cervenka spins out. Parayko on the move. And they'll give him the red line as he sends it in. Crosby works the boards against Ruda. Cycled back by Stone. Here's Crosby. Ruda on him. Back to Theodore and Doughty. And a shot by Marner well wide. So Theodore has been worked in as the seventh man. John Cooper doesn't want guys sitting. And has done a nice job with Theodore and Bennett, the extra forward and defenseman so far. Here's a puck loose and played wide of the net. Looking for the stick of Stransky. McDavid chasing after it. Knocked away. McDavid on it. Pass behind Wilson. Here's a Makar shot. Scores! Cale Makar with 5.7 remaining in the period.
I think Celebrini got a piece. The youngster on the tip. Dostal right away calling for a high stick review. They'll obviously take a look at it as Macklin Celebrini's family celebrates, but that one from here looked below the crossbar.
How about that? 19 years of age, and
there's no doubt he touches it.
Dostal called immediately. A better look at it here. That looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, it might take a minute to get to because all the different angles, but that one's good. And late in the period, Macklin Celebrini. What a moment.
Wow. McKinnon's goal washed out, but not Celebrini on the tip. Makar and McDavid the assists, and the period done on a goal at 1954. And the remarkable season of Macklin Celebrini gets even better. Shots on goal, even at 11 apiece, but the final shot deflected past Dostal. Mike, any tweaks you're anticipating based on what we saw in the first 20?
No, I don't think too much. I mean, I think Czech would be happy with how they played. Quality probably went to Canada by a little bit, but they had their couple looks. They'll have to be good in the power play. The one guy I want to see get going, Nathan McKinnon, see he has more possession in the offensive zone in his game in the second and third.
Connor McDavid led the Team Canada players in ice time in the opening period with 7 minutes. For Cale Makar with an assist in that late goal, sends it in and fired back down the ice. Binington scoops it across. Makar had that intercepted. Just in the area, Makar takes it over again, and here comes Canada. Mark Stone inside the line, stops it up, downhill, here's a move, and unable to get a shot away was Marner, looking dangerous.
He was in between, should I shoot, or do I give it to Crosby sitting at the side of the net?
Now maybe a chance for Hagel just out of his reach. And with all the star power, that often is an issue, isn't it? Do you need more of a shoot-first mentality?
Yeah, although I think Mitch Marner would probably make that decision regardless of standing on the side of the net. He's a pass-first kind of guy.
I know Nathan McKinnon talked about getting more pucks to the net than he did at Four Nations. That shot blocked, glove down, a bump there by Suzuki. And Colton Parayko took over. When I asked McKinnon what he took out of Four Nations, one of the first things he said is, I only had one shot in the final. It went in, but it wasn't the typical McKinnon shooting range. He wants to be more active in this tournament. That's with a guy who had 4 goals in the tournament. McDavid trying to center off the back of the net. Picked up there by Wilson. Reversing it, Celebrini gets it to McDavid in front. And Wilson had his stick lifted at the last second. Cervenka works it away. Tomaszek, who spent some time with the Oilers earlier this year, out on the ice for Czechia. Here's Celebrini. Got it to McDavid. His shot, and Went off the stick of Dostal up onto the mask. McDavid sends it in behind the net. Scooped ahead, and that'll get played out to center. After it goes Kubalik, and Makar gets back. Bo Horvat. Played to the line. Here comes the shot, and that hit a skate and goes wide. Hronek sends it across Shivik, and that's turned aside. And another with Binington making that sharp angle stop. Celebrini looks ahead. Over the line is Horvat, and Civic cuts him off. Horvat ties up his man, Marchand out there. But out comes Hronek. A lead feed, that's too far, and that's going to be icing against Czechia.
Really good delay play by Mark Stone to set up his Vegas teammate Mitch Marner coming late. As soon as he steps in this open ice, he pulls it to his backhand, but then Crosby's angle sort of gets lost, and the path goes nowhere. And Connor McDavid has a couple times he's tried to go with a quick release, maybe catching Dostal on the way down.
Off the draw, Marner tries to pull it down, and they call the hand pass as Stone played it after it came off the glove of Marner.
That'll allow Checkia to get a change in, though. That was on an icing. Marner doesn't think he actually hit it with his glove. And Wes McCauley definitively makes the decision, and that is the end of the conversation down here. John Cooper a couple times shaking his head at the call. Saw him with the McKinnon goal overturned as well.
The international referees had an orientation camp with the NHL officials in Buffalo in the summer, wanting to get everybody on the same page, and it has appeared to be the case so far. Just threw it into the corner looking for Pasternak. Back to Kempy at the line. He's got Gudas here. Put the shot right on goal. Rebound. And Binington again. Crosby will send the rebound out to center. Jorden Binington. A different guy internationally than we've seen the last couple years in the NHL.
So far answering every question I was asked about his inclusion on the team or his starting position.
Well, this might be a break. Taves trying to get back. Pasternak was lurking there, and Taves did a good job of winning that race. Now knocking it ahead. A bouncing puck. McKinnon trying to scoop it across for Suzuki. Here's Suzuki, and McKinnon follows up. Swings it to the right side. Hagel after it. He got tied up, but Suzuki helps out. Gets it back and drops it off. Parayko can't get it through. That one knocked down. Swung back in. Around for Theodore. Put it right on. And Hagel just a foot away from getting a stick on that.
There's a battle to the puck there in front of the Dostal. As David Pasternak, so dangerous out here, and then it gets all turned around with their coverage. Doughty, Harley, and Mark Stone, and you do not want to have Tomas Hertl standing all alone in front like that. Binington able to clean up the mess.
Shots 5-1 Czechia here early in the second. McDavid wins the faceoff. Theodore across. Parayko's shot goes wide of the net. Back to Theodore. Blocked by Dostal. Looked like that changed direction at the last second. Wilson had it knocked off his stick. Fired back in by Parayko. And Theodore and Parayko together here in the second. Centering pass. Celebrini stopped by Dostal. Tough stop there.
This line is starting to get their chemistry.
And Celebrini got it to McDavid. Back it goes! And Dostal out beyond the blue to make that stop off Harley. Back behind the net it goes. It'll be McDavid to the bench, and now on comes Doughty to send that wide of the cage. Comes back to Doughty. Harley shooting that, blocked. He's tied up, and it'll come out to center. Marchand back. Over the glove of Harley and down the ice, and I'm going to say no icing.
Harley got a piece of it with his glove in the offensive zone.
Jaro Spacek back. Up ahead off Ruda. Stanley Cup winner with John Cooper in Tampa. Offside called at the Team Canada line.
Well, Macklin Celebrini, the only goal scorer in this game, almost gets another one. And it always starts with getting the puck to Connor McDavid in some capacity in the offensive zone. And a little backhand shovel puck. And the quick release of Celebrini. Oh, dancing on top of the pad of Dostal.
Dostal trying to call icing there. Stone works the boards. Crosby redirects it behind the net. Stone after it there. Left it for Marner. Here's Crosby. Kicks it back to the line. Taves. Makar. He was looking for Marner in front. And now Taves will work back into his own zone to reset. Off Marner to Crosby. Tried to get it back to Marner and just broken up by Ruda. Marner now to the net. Scooping in front, scores! Stone from Marner, and it's 2-0.
What a play by Mitch Marner. Now the quick up catches Czechia. 3-on-2 develops, and an overcommitment at the blue line. As Ruta dives at Crosby, gets the first turnover, but then all the forwards react as though the puck's gonna get turned over, and wow, on the backhand to shovel it through the sprawling Spacek right over top and dropping it onto Stone's stick for the empty netter. That is beautiful from Mitch Marner.
Maple syrup sauce.
My goodness.
6:40, time of the goal. You see Marner and Crosby both on the assists, and you can see a little more chemistry on that last shift starting to develop. Mark Stone on the board. 2-0, Team Canada.
Well, Mark Stone admitted when the NHL pulled out of going to the 2022 Olympics, close to last minute, he thought that was it. That was going to be his only chance to represent Canada in a best-on-best Olympic format. Didn't think his game would still be at a high enough level 4 years later to be in consideration for Canada. He made Four Nations, scored the opener that tournament. He's made the Canadian Olympic team, and the Pride of Winnipeg has a goal in their opener against Czechia, Chris.
You know, there was some concern because he was on IR early in the season, but coming into the Olympics since January the 1st, no Olympian here was more productive than Mark Stone. 29 points in his last 19 games since January 1.
And for all the conversation of the rink and its dimensions, a couple feet off the neutral zone might help Mark Stone be even better than he already is.
6th round pick and a guy that's not the prettiest skater in this tournament, but
he gets there, and once he does, he knows what to do with it.
Always seems to be in the right spot. Hagel, McKinnon. And McKinnon got bumped by Gudas. Comes back, and Taves with a drive. Makar's moved in deep. Kick back to Theodore.
Gotta get back.
Or Taves, excuse me, but Pasternak was there, and here comes Natchez with speed. And they do get back, and it's played out. Back the other way. It's McDavid and Hagel. McDavid! Oh, Dostal!
Oh, he got him both!
Did you see that? It'll be Wilson. Hagel. That's a great stop on anybody, but even more so when you've just robbed Connor McDavid.
He got them both, though, 2 times, Chris. Good back check by Suzuki to turn it over. McDavid goes early to Hagel. Hagel goes right back. And Connor McDavid just doesn't elevate it. He goes on the ground. He's got to go up under the bar. But the second one even maybe better by Dostal to stay with the puck. and get his glove on the second attempt. You push this to 3 if you're Canada here, you feel like you're in a really good spot.
That would have been a big follow-up goal. A couple of minutes after Mark Stone provides a 2-goal lead. Spot check starts the rush. Here's Andre Kasha trying to get it back to David Camp. Palat there, taken to the boards by Celebrini. Doughty down in the corner, but able to recover. Kasha back to the line, steered back in by Hronek. Binington directing traffic. McDavid doesn't clear. Wilson takes Camp off the puck. Kasha comes up with it. Back it goes to the line. The shot right on. A rebound. And that's kicked wide of the net. And flipped to center. Wilson just knocked down Hronek. And a hand pass stops play. Not anything to do with the Tom Wilson hit.
No fair catches allowed in hockey. Hronek's out there in the neutral zone, knowing that Wilson's cruising right by him as he jumps to grab the puck. Nothing wrong with this. Get nice and clean. This line is getting much more comfortable. Kevin talked about in the first intermission, chemistry slowly starting to develop between Celebrini, Wilson, and McDavid. More evident in the second.
Always takes some time, doesn't it? Even with the familiarity that a lot of players have through Four Nations, that obviously isn't the case for McDavid, Celebrini, and Wilson. Marchand in front and unable to get that onto the stick of Reinhart. Back to Theodore, right on. Marchand there with a little tap that will draw a reaction from Ruda, excuse me.
The goal scorer for Canada in the second period was Mark Stone, and he just goes to the net. It's a brilliant replay of it. As Mitch Martin was going flying over top of the defender, Mark Stone just has to guide it home. And nobody does high fives better than Mark Stone. He might as well be playing 1955.
Canada's taken the lead in shots here after Czechia had a 5-1 advantage to start the second period. Marchand had some words with the entire Czechia bench, which is not a scoop. Now trying to center here, out along with Reinhart and Bennett. Panther line reunited here again. Swung to the far side and rolled in. Binington out to one-hand that away. Got an active stick, doesn't he?
He's gone with the reach a few times in today's game.
Here's Hronek. Easy stop for Binington, who hands it off to Cale Makar. 10-10 left. Second period, 2-0 Canada as Taves dispatches it in. Here's Crosby. Puck for Stone, back to Crosby. Around to the near side, Harley advances. Took a hit, Stone gets it across. Crosby after it, Nate just can't clear. Crosby to Stone. Holding on, great pass. And Marker tried to one-touch that and unable to make contact. Pasternak back. Along with Natchez, handing it back to David Pasternak, who rolled it in front. Harley there. Crosby up at center. Hit a body, and Doughty will get it deep. Michael Kempney, the former Washington Capital, ahead. Over the line, Natchez to the attack. Kempney, a backhand, doesn't get to the net. Palat, Ruda. That one bounced in front.
In Parayko's
Where
gear.
is it?
There it is.
In the paraphernalia of Colton Parayko. Jan Ruda again. That hit a skate in front, might have been Palat. And now Team Canada works out. Here goes McKinnon. Over the line, drops it off. A backhand through. Trying to get it back to McKinnon as Suzuki unable to make the connection. McKinnon did say he's used to playing heavy minutes knows that's not going to be the case here. Trying to make more with less. Here's McDavid to the work. His shot! And Dostal got a piece of that and might have glanced off the post too. Tomashek unable to get that to Sedlak, and it's rolled back into Czechia ice. And they will call icing as Simic looked like he was skating in quicksand at the end of that.
Connor McDavid always the center of attention. It does appear he is looking to shoot often in this game. That one just glances on the outside of the post. He's got the goaltender beat, but can't quite find the angle.
Offensive zone face-off. The Czechs send their top line out, but Team Canada able to clear. McDavid pounces on that. Back in, trying to slice through, and the puck ends up in the glove of Dostal. So 8:04 left, second period. Beautiful shot of a terrific goal.
Well, Radko Gudas' father, Leo Gudas, was part of that Czechoslovakia squad that won bronze in the '92 Olympic Games. The bronze medal now tucked away in a safe, only brought out when buddies of his want to see it. And if you're wondering if Radko plays like his father did, well, that photo on the right of Leo coming together with a young Eric Lindros should give you the answer. Radko said his grandfather would tell him he skates like his dad did when he was young. His son, Kavito, is 8 years old now, also plays hockey, and admits that, yeah, it looks like the Gudas skating stride is being passed down another generation, Chris.
He was 8 years old when Dominik Hasek stood on his head, and the Czech Republic won gold in Nagano. And, well, with Leo, his dad, he was going to be a hockey player, but that cinched it for Radko Gudas. Haven't seen Josh Morrissey very much in the second period.
Just checking the bench right now. I don't think I see him.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's there, is he?
He winced after getting hit in the first period, but I don't think he left the bench during.
There's another Wilson hit. Gudas on the receiving end. Gudas to the bench. Reinhart waited just in time. Put it in front. That went through the crease. Harley moves up. In behind is Reinhart. Looking to center. Knocked off the stick to Bennett. And Stransky's out. Over the line, it is Hurdle. Sliding it through, and he had a couple open men, but the pass ended up on the stick of Marchand. Back in, and onside is Natchez. Natchez trying to twist away from the checking of Harley. Got it back to the line. Shivik, loose puck in front, and Pasternak couldn't take advantage of the rebound. And that puck fired down the ice. Team Canada icing.
It's a couple times that Canada has had an unguarded Czech player right in front. And those two have probably come together a few times over the years. Radko Gudas, Tom Wilson. The way this game is being played and called, I don't think there's going to be any issue for Tom Wilson being in the Olympics.
That was the big fear. People were suggesting he might not last the first 10 minutes if he played Tom Wilson hockey. Reinhart scoops that back down, and that will be a second straight icing Canada. Boy, John Cooper effusive in his praise of Tom Wilson. How he lights up a room, and really everybody excited to be here, but maybe nobody's worn it more on their sleeve than Tom Wilson.
When you think about where he's come from and where he is now.
First time ever representing Team Canada. Puck left in front, and Binington gets back on top of that after spitting out a bit of a rebound.
Well, there's two icings for Canada that allowed Czechia to get back for these face-offs. Lost the first one, but win the second one. And then David Kampf, who had a good first period in the face-off circle, causing traffic. Good job by Binington to fight through the slashing bodies in front to find the puck. He has been razor sharp.
Crosby to take the draw against Kemp. A glove stop by Binington. It wouldn't have mattered. Kemp upset because they're going to face it off again.
Kemp he's got that big blade on his stick. He's really good in the face-off circle. Him and Crosby went swinging in hard for this one. But it's the skate was the issue for Kemp.
52.8 during the regular season, and in this game now, 11-6. Theodore around for Stone. He'll chip it out to center. Played back inside the line.
We'll run with Horvat out there for face-offs, and then he changes. Get Marner on the ice.
Here's Shea Theodore. Started as the 7th without Morrissey. Getting a regular turn. Deep in, off Marner. Crosby there looking for a loose puck and bounced away and now played inside the line. So Drew Doughty won't not get spelled either with Morrissey missing. Sedlak back for Ruda. They get organized. Spacek out at center, deflecting inside the line. Czech fans who have been relatively quiet after a very noisy start, trying to pick their team up.
The whistles mean the Czech fans are unhappy. And no one's happy Josh Morrissey's not playing in this game. But the defensive coach and the 6th defenseman playing, it gets a lot easier to get into a rhythm when you're just playing the standard 6. And of course, they also have Travis Sanheim not dressed for tonight's game.
Getting against Radek Faksa on that draw. Out at center. Doughty. Hagel across off Harley. Suzuki will scoop it in. McKinnon after it. McKinnon on it. Back to Theodore. That one sent wide of the net, looking for the stick of Suzuki. Picked up by Spacek, and that missed the mark, and it's icing Czechia, and the game kind of grinding to a halt.
But an offensive zone face-off. There's Ruta, still a little shaken up on the bench. It's a physical game. It's fast out here. Bodies are flying around. And a little cross-check right in the ribs by Nathan McKinnon.
Celebrini going to take this draw. But won by Faksa. Theodore and Parayko. Chip back in by Celebrini. Wilson. A bump there. But up ahead, Spacek at center. Theodore. Celebrini. Trying to spring McDavid.
Kempney better dive. He was going to get caught in a hurry.
Kempney lost his footing, and McDavid was almost away. 2-0 Canada. 4:23 left, second period. 21 saves for Jorden Binington so far. Answering the critics again, Mike.
And the critics were there, and they're there for good reason. This regular season for St. Louis and for Jorden Binington has not been good. See his league ranks towards the bottom of the league in all of them. But his belief in himself, as well as John Cooper's unwavering belief in him, a big part of the reason why Logan Thompson's backing up and Binington gets the opening game start, the presumed toughest opponent start, and he has shown the kind of performance that would reward the faith that John Cooper has had in him.
Schedule gives Cooper the opportunity to test drive a couple of goaltenders, back-to-back games, Switzerland tomorrow. Here's Hagel to the net, and no stall. The rebound and the backhand by Suzuki doesn't get to the net. Trying to tie up David Kemp. A lead feed, that's out of the reach of Simic. And a lot of icings in the second period.
Passes going awry, but a lot of board work. Nothing easy and quick coming off the rush. But John Cooper, again, Puts the face-off on the left side. Now, I wonder if Celebrini steps in to take this. Is this a set play? No, McDavid's taking it. Clearly, there was a conversation beforehand. But routes they want to run on a win.
From the scrum, Celebrini not able to get the shot to the net. Took a high hit from Gudas, and now Wilson and Gudas having words. Back the other way, though. Andre Palat inside the line. A chance for Shivik, and it rolled just wide. At the line, Gudas sends it into the corner. Played back out. Gudas went up to try and bring that down. Now Wilson's got it. Past Gudas. Palat tried to line up Wilson. Kept in by Makar. And that pass off Palat skinked it out. Starting to heat up again. And Team Canada, a lot of traffic there. They're not going to... Czechs wanted a too many men call, and it wouldn't have been the wrong call, I don't think. As it was thrown in front of the Team Canada bench in the midst of a change. Pasternak after it. Reinhardt away with it. Harley into the zone. Sends it around. Reinhardt leaves it for Marchand. Marchand works the corner. Able to pry that through. A centering pass by Reinhardt. Failed to click. Back the other way. It's rolled in by Natchez. Marchand. Nice pass. Horvat's in. Boom! Horvat scores!
What a beauty. That is end-to-end. All 5 players involved. Perfect execution. And it really starts with Drew Doughty on the entry attempt by Czechia. He slows down Natchez and Pasternak. Now let's Harley wheel the net, go tape to tape. And what a slick pass this is for Brad Marchand. Rona gets caught wide, thinking Marchand's gonna go up the boards, and Horvat explodes down the middle. And the cheekiest of 5-hole finishes. That is a thing of beauty.
24 goals during the regular season. He went into a bit of a lull a couple of weeks before this tournament, but broke out of it with a pair of goals against Pittsburgh, an overtime winner that got him back on track. And that's got to be one of the biggest goals that he has scored in his career. 3-0 Team Canada on the Horvat goal at 17:26 from Marchand and Harley. Team Canada right back into Czechia territory. Flipped away to center ice, and Parayko back to regroup with Theodore. Marner scoops the backhand in. Foxa back to get it. On the forecheck. McKinnon unable to come up with it, and back the other way. Trying to slice through is Stransky. Suzuki there. To the near side. Gudas gets hit by McKinnon. They go at each other. It's played back behind the net. Foxa. All over him is Devon Taves. Board battle, and it slides to Binington. Hands it off for Makar. Suzuki trying to get out, and now Makar will take over with McKinnon. And it comes across Hagel, and the glove stopped by Dostal off Suzuki.
So this is how defense can lead to offense. If you do it right the whole way. Harley picks up the retrieval. Brad Marchand sells the wide pass and draws in everyone to his side of the ice, and then shot out of a cannon is Bo Horvat for the finish. What a moment. And another big goal late in the period, Chris. Puts Canada in a good spot.
Shots even at 22 apiece, but
they really
hit 3-goal cushion.
Interesting here. They got Nick Suzuki, who's still on the ice, even though he's tired. They want the right shot, pulling it to McDavid around the top. They're working on some stuff, offensive zone draws.
But David Camp, who's been good throughout this game, wins the face-off.
Suzuki doesn't win it. He goes right off and Celebrini back out there.
So final minute, stretch for Wilson. That slides right to Dostal. Celebrini there, takes over. A centering pass that was gobbled up, but a Dostal giveaway. Celebrini quick on the puck. He's got it again. Celebrini. McDavid comes out in front. Good stick by Dostal. Celebrini from the corner. McDavid calling for it. There was Harley. McDavid turns the other way. And Wilson just missed. Harley at the line. Dying seconds of the period. That comes out. They'll have to get out of the zone. And the clock is draining here in the second period. Back in McDavid. One more chance. Celebrini trying to get that to the net. And the horn sounds to end the period. Mark Stone at 6:40 on that nice feed from Marner, and then Horvat with a breakaway goal at 17:26. Shots 23-22. Team Canada after 2. James and the gang coming up with our second intermission after this.
Delivery of the game presented by Instacart, the winning way to get groceries delivered. Sidney Crosby got to know Macklin Celebrini at the World Championships last year. He thought this could be a player that could help Canada at the Olympics. Crosby said for Celebrini to start this year, he couldn't be equal with the other guys in the conversation, make the roster. He had to be above, and he certainly has been. Now, Hockey Canada has been sharing little bios on each player over the last few days. There's one part where a player has to describe their own game in 3 words. Celebrini went with skilled, competitive, and joy. A lot of joy in playing the Olympics, joy in delivering his first goal of the Olympics, and brought a lot of joy coast to coast here late in the first period, Chris.
He certainly did. Vancouver on the board. Winnipeg's Mark Stone on the board. London's Bo Horvat on the board. Third period underway. Josh Morrissey played 105 of that second period, but as Elliott reported, done for the day. And with Morrissey out, Devon Taves, the top time on ice man for Team Canada through 2 periods at 13:28. McDavid with 5 shots on goal to lead in that department. Here's Crosby looking for Stone on the right wing. Shimmick back, and Team Canada in the midst of a change. Parayko drops. McKinnon with a shot that bounces off a Czechia player wide of the net. Now Kubalik sends it in. There's Shea Theodore. David Camp on the scene. Camp's been good in this game for Czechia, hasn't he?
He has. He always plays a prominent role when he plays internationally. A bit higher up in the lineup than you see him in the NHL.
McKinnon just took a run at Gudis. So we'll watch to see if anything else develops off that. Fired wide by Kempney. Celebrini chipped it to the line, kept in. Parayko up, and away goes Macklin Celebrini. They're changing behind him as he flips it in deep. He'll chase after it against Kempney. McDavid working down against Cervenka as the puck slides to Dostal, who covers up.
Well, it's been a really good 2 periods for Canada. Jorden Binington's been good. 3 lines have scored 3 goals, and the one line that hasn't has been Nate McKinnon's. And what separates McKinnon sometimes from other superstars is that when he gets frustrated, he gets more physical. He doesn't sort of chase offense, he chases hits and contact to vent his frustration, and you see some of that to start the 3rd period.
Didn't like the stick from Camp, took it out on Gudis. 1 shot for McKinnon so far, and the 1 shot that was taken back on what appeared to be the first goal of the game. Chance here, Harley, and it's off the glove of Dostal. Team Canada's defense has 2 assists in the game so far. Celebrini checked at the line, and McDavid will bump it back. Harley waits for a fresh line to come onto the ice. Sends it ahead off Bennett. Bennett, Reinhardt, Marchand. Get another turn together. Into the middle where Reinhardt deflects it to the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. That pass hit a skate. McCarl turned back. Up ahead, a lead feed out of the reach of Bennett. Off a Czechia stick. Here's Šimik. Radek Faksa. And Tomaszek takes a bump from Makar, who dropped his stick. Taves on the left wing. Marchand trying to duck the check of Gudas. And Gudas bounced off him and went down. Get a better look. Why did Marchand get a shot in? Because Gudas looked immediately to the referee.
I don't think he was happy with the little up and under he was attempting on the initial hit.
Now chasing after it, Crosby. Gets it off the stick of Gudas. Crosby goes after it in the corner. Tied up, sends it around, and here's Parayko. Tried to drop it off, but that intercepted, and here comes Palat. Andre Palat, the shot! Just went wide of the net. Binington may have got a piece of that.
He did. He got the cuff on that riser from Hurdle.
Now Pasternak comes on. Granick left it for Natchez. Here is Camp trying to cut in. Looks like Natchez with Camp and Kubalik as Czechia looks for offense and spreads it out a little. Here's McKinnon. What a burst. He's in. Backhand. Stopped by Dostal. That's the most dangerous McKinnon's look since the washed out goal.
Chances going at both ends. As first it's Hurdle on this wrist. So you can see Binington just get a piece to knock that one over the net. Heavy shot and a really good save. Binington going down, but the glove stays up to turn Hurdle aside.
So Morrissey not coming back for Canada. Jan Bruda did not come out for the third period, we believe, for Czechia. After that shot from McKinnon. McDavid trying to center, that denied. Here's Natchez. A terrific season he's had in Colorado. Martin Natchez cutting in, backhand, stopped. And McDavid will take over. Maybe he'll try to go end to end. Instead just got to center and sent it in. He'll get it back and fires right on. Dostal wasn't sure where it was.
It's going to be about 10 attempts at net for Connor McDavid. He has been all over the puck. That's a high stick. Yeah.
At least 6 shots for McDavid.
Yeah, but all the ones he attempted cut the sides of the net and everything else. He has been a shot-first focus for Connor McDavid. And I think that's probably a good thing for his game and Canada. But the good news is that he has found a way with his line mates to get the puck on his stick frequently. And when that happens, chances occur. That's just inevitable. He's talking it out with Tom Wilson right now and Celebrini.
Face off in the Team Canada zone. And that shot high and bounces back to the Czechia line. Kondratik off Cervenka. Binington out to play that.
He's been really good playing the puck. Very smooth.
Does like to keep busy back there, doesn't he?
He's good at it, but it's just been clean touches and good decisions as well.
Here's Andre Kasha in. The Czechs have shuffled the deck here looking for offense here in the third. The car idles. Fresh troops over the boards. Past 5 minutes of the third. Technically Team Canada the road team, and that's the way it has felt with this large Czechia crowd on hand, but I'd suggest it looks like a pretty good road game for Team Canada so far. Tomaszek sends it in. Mark Stone at center. Over the line, Marner. Wraps it around for Crosby. He was watched carefully. That puck came out in front. Now Crosby behind the net. Turning away from the heat, put it in front. Just out of the reach of Stone.
He had him. Stone getting lost coming down the middle as Crosby attracted 2 defenders.
Boyd Crosby with an assist in this game. Now the oldest Olympian with a point at age 38. Raymond Bourque was 37 when he registered his last point in the 98 Olympics. And we've had the youngest in the NHL Olympic era score the opening goal for Team Canada off the stick of Macklin Celebrini, and here is Hagel with McKinnon, and that bounced off him. McKinnon back to Hagel. Suzuki went to the front of the net, now plays it back to the line. Across out of the reach of Doughty. Hagel will hold the zone. Suzuki trying to center for McKinnon, and Pasternak turns. Only Šimik with him. Pasternak, the back pressure there, but Pasternak holds on and slides to the net. Suzuki got back, but somehow Pasternak kept it alive. Here's Harley. Doughty. Wilson, nice pass. McDavid in again. And Celebrini tied up in front.
That's going to be a penalty to somebody.
Interference call on Celebrini. We'll have more coming up with Mark Stone and Kyle when we return.
Nobody gives a high five like Mark Stone. Some further visual proof. Up top, big, wide open palm. He really had them going when he put up a hat trick in the Stanley Cup clinching game with Vegas back in 2023. That was the biggest stage. He got to let his emotions out. He's a Stanley Cup champion, won a World Championship gold back in 2016, trying to join the Triple Gold Club with a gold medal here in Milan. The high five has gone international, Chris.
World champion MVP wouldn't be the only one to join the Triple Gold Club. If Canada can finish what they're starting today. Power play for Team Canada. Second of the game. 0 for 1. McDavid across scores. That was easy and lethal. Nathan McKinnon has the power play goal.
I'm watching the Czech defenders just coming to the bench shaking their head. What are we supposed to do? Who are we supposed to cover? And I'm watching the play develop thinking, okay, Reinhart, it's coming to Reinhart. The Czech defenders thought the same thing. They focused in the middle, and Connor McDavid drops it on a tee for Nathan McKinnon. So Gudas is playing the scene, but McDavid, as he takes that slight step towards the net, he draws Radko Gudas to his side of Dostal, and that little subtle move and the pass just perfect for Nate McKinnon to tuck it home. A lot like the one he had in the Four Nations.
Indeed, that was the goal the first minute of the first game of Four Nations. This the first game for Team Canada with the NHLers back in 12 years, and the scoring line is a thing of beauty. It's McKinnon from McDavid and Crosby at 7:42. It kind of sums up why we want to see the very best at the Olympics. Here's Spacek across. Kondratik moves down, and Binington got knocked down at the side of the net. Harley going to go at him, and Faksa answers back, but they separate at the last minute with play back in the Czechia zone. And here's Makar to the net, and Dostal with a nice stop there. Makar again. If it wasn't the Olympics, there'd probably be a fight right now at the other end of the ice as Crosby's shot is stopped.
But you know what, Chris? Jorden Binington himself did not get too excited about this. We know he's got a short fuse. We've seen it in the NHL. Poking at guys, challenging guys to fights at times. Pretty good collision for that. That's a penalty. Faksa just sort of bowls over top of him. But Binington actually said, I'm good. Don't worry about it. He tells Harley, don't worry about it. Look at Jorden Binington. Skate away. Don't worry about it. We got this. And the composure being showed by the goaltender. and well done.
Answering more questions. Here's Stone. Stopped up. Parayko wraps it in behind the net. Stone is there. Crosby tried to chop it back to the point. Broken up there by Palat. There's Pasternak. Palat on this line now. Flipping spots with Natchez. Trying to spread out a little offense against a very deep four-line attack of Team Canada. Big hit there. Parayko knocking down Pasternak. And McKinnon back in. Here's McKinnon in front. And Gudas got a stick on that. That goal might have gone to McKinnon's legs. Kubalik can't get it through, and it takes a bite out of Makar.
Rode up and got him in the midsection.
Feeling it a bit, but continues on. It's like he'd like to get off.
Maybe winded. Looked like he's trying to catch his breath.
Natchez turns back. Natchez is going to wind it up. He hits the line, but lost possession. Flipped back out. Celebrini going to charge after that. Gudas trying to run a little interference. Around it goes to Camp, but Wilson leaned on him. Chervenka moves up. Dowdy behind the net. The veteran Chervenka, who leads the Czech league in scoring, and it's rolled back down the ice. And this, no, they're going to wave off icing. Canada's got the puck. Celebrini bounces off a hit. Taking over is McDavid, cycling it back, but Quadratic there. McDavid. Tom Wilson sends it to the net. Off Dostal and out of play. 9:23 to go. Third period. Another pretty power play goal, and it's 4-0.
A beautiful look at Milan, one of the fashion capitals of the world. So if you're going to come all the way out here, I mean, I'm no fashionista myself, but you at least have to try to look the part. But no, if you really want to fit in and look similar among the locals, maybe you wear something like John Cooper was rocking at the outdoor game less than 2 weeks ago down in Tampa. He had the whole hockey world buzzing with that outfit. But back here in Milan, a little more traditional look for Cooper behind the bench, who said this week he noticed that Canada's time together last year for the majority of the group has really helped as they've regathered here in Milan again, that they will wear their heart on their sleeves. And there hasn't been a ton of kinks to work out, it would seem, here in their opener against Czechia, as they enjoy a 4-goal lead here in the third, Chris.
Coach has had him well prepared. It's been clinical so far. Under 10 minutes remaining. There's a shot right on, the rebound into the corner, trying to center it for Stransky. Backs up. Cycles it back. Quadratic in deep. At the point, spot check. Spot check, sidestep Marchand, and put that right on. Now Marchand. Out at center, Horvat. Unable to get that puck deep, and it's brought back in. Stransky, Pasternak. And swatted back out by Reinhardt. David Pasternak hands it off Šimik. Radim Šimik for San Jose Sharkian. Wes McCauley went for a tumble. Roenick's shot off the stick and up onto the netting.
Well, check in on Wes McCauley. That was a pretty good spill. Down in the corner, got his legs taken out from under him. And this, you're right, has been clinical. And the one thing that the Four Nation would have helped Team Canada with specifically is that while all these players would know each other from All-Star and everything else that they participate in, they don't often play together. Whereas the best in Europe get together more frequently as a group. So both on and off the ice, they have a little bit of a chance to get it together.
Here goes Sam Bennett. Bennett in. Glove stop Dostal. Well, 2 goals from Team Canada players from Four Nations, and 2 of the newcomers are also on the board tonight. Celebrini and Horvat.
I guess that's why they were added, to exactly what they are supposed to do. John Cooper is paying a lot of attention to who takes defensive zone faceoffs and who's out there in their own end. Really coaching hard this game.
Crosby tried to go forward there. Kemp wins the draw. Crosby will bring it right back in. Here's Crosby across and disrupting that pass towards Stone. Crosby again. Marner to Stone. Moving up Makar. And trying to hook it back for Marner, who was covering, but out of his reach. Got to go back to get it. Crosby to Makar, and he'll stop up behind the net. 7.5 left. Goal differential of a +4 at the moment. Team USA and Latvia tonight. Or later, wherever you're watching, that shot turned wide off the stick of Hagel. Dowdy around for Nathan McKinnon. He'll flip it high. Hagel looking for it. Suzuki followed up. Here's Hagel trying to center. Around for McKinnon. He'll walk out in front and swivel that wide. Harley past Hagel to the near side. Dowdy will venture in. In behind the net, Suzuki. Here's McDavid off the bench. In low. There's score! Off Suzuki! On the feed by McDavid. It's 5-0.
Is that the accidental tip by Nick Suzuki? Who's been trying to do all the right things. He's playing on the wing, which is out of position. Been working to get to the front of the net. Trying to be good positionally for new line mates. And he gets one off a line change. McDavid comes flying off the bench. Marley just drops it off to him. Good idea. And I don't think Nick Suzuki was trying to tip this one. I think Dostal read it correctly. He was going to pull it. And it just jammed him up a little bit off the top of the blade and over top of Dostal. He'll take it. First Olympic goal for Nick Suzuki.
And there's 3 of the 5 goals by new additions since Four Nations.
Right, well, they have 4 new forwards. Tom Wilson, you're on deck. And that's a pretty tidy 3 points for Connor McDavid, who has been all over this game.
Doug Armstrong's got to like what he's seen so far. 3 assists from the big guy up front.
He's got 3 points.
3 newcomers with goals.
McDavid's got 3 points. He could easily have 5. Well, the chances think of the Hagel 2-on-1, he wasn't able to convert as well. And even for a player as great as Nick Suzuki is, all-star, captain of the Montreal Canadiens, getting around this group and getting a goal will help you feel more comfortable. A little dose of confidence.
One thing they've talked about with Suzuki, there's so many different options. He can do just about everything. Power play, penalty kill. Of course, we know him as a center playing wing here. But a variety of roles. A centering pass there, and Celebrini unable to find it. Kept in at the line briefly by Theodore. And now out is Tomashek with Stransky. Celebrini gets back. Up the boards, McDavid. Gudas took a run at him. Radko Gudas. Wilson comes back. Knocked the stick out of the hands of Pasternak. And Colton Parayko gonna lug the puck through center. Red line and in. 5.5 to go. And even with this game well in hand, any extra goal will help. And a goal against will hurt a bit, as the goal differential is so critical in the seedings, top to bottom. Here's a chance, and Bennett sent it high. But if you said +5 against Czechia,
take it.
I think everybody would be absolutely delighted.
All day long.
Switzerland tomorrow. 2 days after that, it'll be France. Czechia gets France tomorrow. David Kemp across. Flying in Stransky. Kubalik, a stick on that. And back the other way is Stone. Marner to the attack with Stone. Wraps it around behind the net. Stone centered. Here's a chance in front. Crosby with the tip.
He went to his patent chop tip.
Stone again. Crosby lets it go. Marner leans in, battling for the puck against Spacek. Marner cycles it back. Left there, and Suzuki back on the puck. Marner, like he was trying to head off, but takes the pass, holds the zone, and now heads to the bench. Maybe another chance here. McKinnon, and he wired that stick side wide. Unable to knock it down. It comes to Suzuki in front, and it's Dostal robbing Brandon Hagel. Team Canada looking for another. McDavid setting up Suzuki. 5-0.
Tone early, and when your best players, your most talented players dig in physically, then everybody else falls in line, and it has been all 20 skaters getting after Czechia in a very physical manner. And you can see as this game has gone on, Chris, Canada's gotten a little bit more control, a little more time and space, almost as though they've softened up the Czechia team. Now they have the puck as much as they want it.
Shots were relatively even throughout most of the game, but now 36-26. Canada completely taking charge here in the third. Left in center and touched by Suzuki. It stopped play on the hand pass.
Challenge for John Cooper will be tonight. Break down the tape. They have Switzerland tomorrow. It's a quick turnaround against a really good team, different kind of team. But where do you go when you say we want improvements? Because it has really been a comprehensive victory for Canada. I guess we'll have to work on a new defenseman likely with Travis Sanheim.
Swiss scored 2 quickly today and then 2 more late in the game. A 4-0 victory over France. McDavid looking for Wilson backdoor, didn't get there. But that would be the only concern, that very quickly one defenseman down. Sanheim will be the next man up.
And you'd hope that it's not long-term for Morrissey.
Right.
And there is 10 days left in this tournament roughly, so guys can get a lot done in 10 days when they're trying to get healthy.
$11 players with a point in the game. Every forward has a shot for Team Canada in the game.
I'm thinking about the pair that's on the ice right now, though, Doughty and Harley. Weren't sure how much they were going to play, if they were even going to play in this game. I've been so impressed with these two, just under control, not flashy, not piling up points, but just making a whole bunch of good decisions with the puck. And being tough in their own end.
When the Olympic rings are in the building, Drew Doughty always shows up, doesn't he?
He's a literal gray beard right now, but still playing well.
He was the Celebrini kid in 2010. Started as the 7th D. Ended up on the ice for the golden goal. Harley fires it in from center. McDavid battles. Celebrini back to McDavid. Reinhart was loose in front of the net, but McDavid tied up. And Andre Palat wheels out. Just got away from a Reinhart hit. Makar around. Hurdle on the far side. 2 minutes remaining here in the third. Cave sends it ahead. McDavid got knocked down. Knocked off the stick of Pasternak and out. They have muzzled this crowd that was extremely boisterous prior to the game. The warm-ups were even entertaining. We were saying, Mike, that it'll be fun to see a Czech-Slovakia game in this tournament. A possibility in qualification or quarterfinals, we'll see. But I think the ratio of fans pretty obvious right now because this building pretty quiet. Marner from center in the final minute. Stone. And on cue, the Canadian fans here are starting to savor this one as the countdown's on. Cervenka up ahead. Swept around by Harley. Crosby on the ice here with under a half minute to go. Team Canada's got one more task to get done here in the final 20 seconds. Maybe a chance for the Czech. They put it out in front, and Crosby will chop that away. First Olympic game for a lot of the Team Canada players, including Jorden Binington, and he has registered his first Olympic shutout. "26 stops for Jorden Binington. 5 different scores for Team Canada. The Olympic shutout streak for Canada with NHL players has been extended and is now up to 224 minutes and 19 seconds. 11 consecutive victories for Team Canada's NHL players at the Olympics and getting ready for Switzerland tomorrow. 5-0 as we join James Duthie.